This is chapter 34 of Life of Pat. Father said, well, sail like Columbus. He was hoping to find India. I pointed out suddenly. We sold the zoo locked, stocked, and barreled to a new country, a new life. Besides assuring our collections of a happy future, the transaction would pay for an immigration to leave us with God some of a fresh start in Canada. Though now I think of it as somewhat laughable how blinded we are by money. We could have sold our animal zoos in India, but American zoos were willing to pay higher prices. Cities, the Convention of International Trade in Endangered Species, had just come into effect, and the window of the trading of the captured wild animals have slammed shut. The future of the zoo would now lie with other zoos. The Pondicherry Zoo closed shop right time. There was a scramble to buy our animals, and final buyers were the number of zoos, mainly in the Lincoln Park in Chicago, and soon to open Minnesota Zoo. But odd animals were going to Los Angeles, Louisville, Oklahoma cities, in Cincinnati. There are 2 animals being shipped to the Canada Zoo. That's how Ravia and I felt. We did not want to go. We did not want to leave our country in the gale force winds and minus 200 degrees of winter. Canada was not on the cricket map. Departure was an easier as far as getting used to the idea. It took time. It took well over a year. I didn't mean for us. I mean for the animal, considering the animal's dispense with clothes, footwear, linen, furniture, kitchenware, toiletries. That nationality means nothing to them. That they care not just for passports, monkeys, employment prospects, schools, costs, housing, healthcare facilities, considering, in short, the lightness of being. It's amazing how hard to move them. Moving a zoo is like moving a city. The paperwork was colossal. Letters and water used up in the wedding of stamps. Dear Mr. So-and-so, written hundreds of times. Offers made, sighs heard, doubts expressed. Haggling on through decisions sent higher up for approval, prices agreed upon, deals clinched, dotted lines signed, congratulations given, certificates of origin sought, certificates of health sought, export permits sought, import permits sought, quarantine regulations clarified, the transportation organized, a fortune spent on the telephone calls. It is a joke in the zoo business, a wary joke. That paperwork involved traditions and true ways more than an elephant. The paperwork involved in trading an elephant weighs more than a whale, and that you must never try a trade whale. Never. There seemed to be a single file, nitpicking bureaucrats in Pondicherry and Minneapolis via Delhi and Washington, each with his form, his problem, his hesitation. Shipping the animals to the moon couldn't possibly have been more complicated. Father pulled nearly every hair of his head and came close to giving a number of occasions. There were surprises. Most of our birds and reptiles and lemurs, rhinos, orangutans, and madril, lion-tailed macaques, giraffes, anteaters, tigers, leopards, cheetahs, hyenas, zebras, Himalayan and sloth bears, Indian elephants, Nilgiri terns, among others, were in demand, but others, Elfie, for example, were met with silence. The cataract operation, Father shouted, waving a letter. They'll take her if we do cataract operations on her eye. on a hippopotamus? What's next? Nose jobs on rhinos? Some of the other animals were considered too common. The lions and the baboons, for example. Father Judicialus traded these for an extra orange outan and for Mysore Zoo. The chimpanzees from the Manila Zoo. As for the Elfie, she lived and the rest of her days at the Trivandrum Zoo. One zoo asked for an authentic Brahmin cow for their children's zoo. Father walked out into the urban jungle, Pondicherry, and brought a cow with dark eyes and a nice fat hump and horns, and went straight to such right angles in its head, and it looked as if it had licked an electrical outlet. Father had its horns painted bright orange, and the little plastic bells fitted to the tops for added authenticity. A deputation for 3 Americans came. I was very curious. I had never seen a real-time Americans. They were pink, fat, friendly, very competent, and sweaty profusely. They examined our animals. They put most of them to sleep, and they applied stethoscopes to hearts, examined their urine and feces and horoscope, drew blood in syringes and analyzed it, fondled humps, bumps, and teeth, blinded its eyes, flashing, pinched skin, stroked, and pulled hairs. Poor animals, they must have thought they were being drafted into the U.S. Army. We got big smiles from the Americans and bone-crushing handshakes. The results was that the animals, like us, got working papers. They were future Yankees, and we were future Canucks.